Hey there, everybody. Graham here, and welcome to Army of Ruin. So, this is a game somewhat similar to 20 Minutes Till Dawn. I've been playing it a fair bit recently, and I have some thoughts. That being said, I do want to do just a quick run through one of the levels so you have some context for what I have to say later. But yeah, as you can see, this is another one of the. I think they're called. I've seen like action roguelike and bullet heaven, since the bullets are coming out of you and not not out of everything trying to kill you. Uh, don't think the genre has a proper name yet, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time, just like it took a bit for Souls likes to get firmly established. But yeah, just like in 20 Minutes Till Dawn, every time we level up, we get to pick from an upgrade, and there are hordes of enemies looking to make sure that we do not survive till the end. One of the big differences in this one is that uh, rather than just having to survive for a set amount of time, we actually have to clear all the waves. So you don't really know how long it's going to be. Uh, at least not in that, you don't have like a 20-minute time limit or a 10-minute time limit. But every wave lasts about a minute, so, like, the first stage in an environment usually takes me about 10 minutes to get through, and then the one I'm running through at the moment is a level 3 one. So this should take about 20 minutes, unless I die horribly early on. Which, all fairness, very possible. But yeah, you might see some of the icons on the side. Those icons tend to mark out items, like there's a bomb that clears the screen. There's a little blue rose that just like that freezes everybody. Uh, I'm running towards this purple one on the left side of the screen. That's a special boss. A certain number of them spawn in every mission once you have that feature unlocked, and they give you a little extra stuff. So I like to wait for a bit, and then once I feel strong enough to go take them on. Okay. One thing I do really like is how progression works in this game. So you have these challenges you can do that when you finish them, they unlock certain other things. So the two I want to draw attention to, you have this one. So we need to find the Meteorite Blast weapon, and that'll unlock us a different weapon if we can finish the stage with it. And we also want to get the Ranger Bow and upgrade that to level 5. So with that in mind, I'm just going to keep re-rolling these and hope I find either of them. Don't have a ton of re-rolls, but it looks like we kind of missed. So just going to try to keep an eye out for those, and hopefully we can pick them up before the end of the stage. So hopefully we can find the Ranger Bow considerably before the end of the stage so we can actually level it up to get that challenge. But yeah, we're just going to keep running. Going to take some fire rate upgrades. From what I can tell, fire rate determines how fast all of your weapons go, except for the big green cloud around me that just deals damage per tick to the enemies that stand in it. It doesn't deal a ton, but it deals a reasonable amount. And there are 12 characters in the game. I'm currently playing as Mork, but not Gork, who's actually an alternate of the troll character you unlock earlier in the game. And each of them has a different starting weapon and a different ability. You've seen mine a couple times now, but this character's ability just shoots out a big shockwave in front of them that can absolutely tear through bosses if you can hit them up close. Alright, what do we want here? If you look up top, you can actually see, like, on the left side, there are these 5 slots for weapons. On the right, I actually have 6 slots for the trinkets. Trinkets are just passive buffs. Weapons fire automatically every time that they, like, whenever their cooldown comes up, and the cooldown varies by weapon. Alright, we actually have a little bit of, we have a boss enemy here, or I guess technically they're called elites? I'm not honestly sure what those are. Like, what the proper term in-game for those is. But yeah, so this is honestly a game, for the most part, you could probably play one-handed if you wanted to. I guess we're going to take the Emerald Ring. Each trinket has an element, and you need certain combinations of elements for weapons to take their stronger form. So you may notice I now have a punch that freezes things, which can be very handy. And I got that by taking, I think it's the one that looks like a little whirlwind and an ice trinket, and then you just kind of wait for the upgrade to show up. Well, we are starting to get a lot more enemies, which is fine by me. The more enemies you kill, the more experience you get, the higher level. I think for a stage 3, I typically get to, like, 35. Which does give us a good chance of getting one or both of the things that we need. And we finally found that boss. And we just need to hope our punch targets it, because our punch does a lot of damage very quickly. Keep taking this. You really just want to try to save those last 2 slots for the weapons that we need. There's no guarantee we'll get them. A little bit unfortunate sometimes that you just don't find the ones that you're looking for. But that's the nature of the genre. I mean, it happens all the time in 20 minutes till dawn. Yeah, keep taking the leather bracer. And, oh, you can actually, oh, here we go. This is, so these enemies with the white circles around them are actually invincible till the end of the wave. So we just need to avoid them, which is unfortunate because they tend to push and get pushed by other enemies, which makes everything move faster than it would normally. But so far, I'd say this run's going pretty well. You know, I'm not drowning in large groups of enemies already. At this point, it's just a matter of continuing to survive and, like I said, just finding the things that we need for the challenges, if they can come up. I don't know for sure. I've spent about 10 hours on this game so far, so I feel like I have a reasonable idea what's going on, but definitely not, like, a perfect understanding of how the game's systems work. But it seems like only certain characters get certain weapons, or at least that they have a higher chance to get those weapons. And yeah, Again, I don't know if that's the case, but it certainly seems like it sometimes. Okay, well, if I don't roll the weapons soon, I'm probably not going to roll either of them this run, which would be unfortunate. But yeah, so you can just see there's a lot of enemies. The ones with the feathered headdresses are really annoying, because they... Oh, there's one of them. When they die, they actually spawn, like, a small group of other enemies. Or sometimes a large group of other enemies, so... On one hand, you do get, you know, a lot of experience and stuff from them. On the other, they can absolutely ruin you in large numbers. Alright, before we run for that chest... Perfect, we actually rolled them both back to back. So now we can really just prioritize getting upgrades. Every one of the enemies with a health bar that you kill drops a chest that provides, I've seen between 1 and 5 free upgrades. 5 is very rare, but you can see this gave 2. Neither are the ones that we're looking to level up, but the fact that we have them is going to be more than enough. Like, you know, we're on wave... I don't even know what wave we're on at the moment, and have to wait to see until that pops up again. But this should run until about wave 20. So we are in no rush. Honestly, at this point, just to finish the challenges, all we really need to do is level the bow up to 5 and just survive until the boss shows up. Okay, here we go. Here's a chest. Yeah, the game drops these chests randomly as well, in addition to having the enemies with the health bars drop them. So, with some luck, you can actually max... Oh yeah, wave 9, so we're not even halfway through, and we're full on weapons and everything. This is the part where it starts spamming the big enemies. Each stage, there are 3 of them. There's a graveyard, this, which is the forest, and a forge, which is a bunch of clockwork robots and dwarf enemies. And each one has their own little hazards. So you can see this one, it had the invincible rock golems, and it also spawned in these, I guess, wood golems? They're very tanky, and they come in a big wave, but they're also very slow. Most of the time, they're very slow. If faster enemies get behind them, they can actually get pushed forward very quickly, like these purple guys who are occasionally just really quick. So, that can be dangerous. It happens more often on the Forge, because the enemies, the Forge ones, are like these side-to-side waves of fast-moving little clockwork, like, balls. And those things will shove so many enemies at you just because, well, they get behind a big wave of enemies and their move speed is faster, so they just push the entire thing along with them. It's actually gotten me killed on several occasions. Got the Battle Cog up. Battle Cog's an interesting weapon. I just unlocked that recently, and it's not entirely sure how to feel about it yet. I also just unlocked the Ranger Bow recently, and I have much less complicated feelings on that particular one. There's actually a character you unlock fairly late in the game who starts with it, and I think she's probably one of the weakest characters in the game. Mostly because her starting weapon is so awkward to use. Okay, well, this is a little unfortunate timing that we got a rock golem wave when we're rushing towards our second special boss. But hopefully we'll be able to maybe get in a position where we can just, like, push the boss around. Or kill it fast enough that the golems can't catch up. So you can kind of see from this just the general gist of how the game goes. The challenges add some variety, but this is mostly about it. Okay. Alright. Cool. We actually timed that very well, unintentionally, so that we reached the boss right at the end of the wave. It was not planned, but I will take it. The wristband item is interesting. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it. It's great on the one character whose ability makes them invincible for about 10 seconds. I don't know how good that character is overall, but I definitely feel like I've had the most success with that character, because all you have to do is get the trinket that makes it so that enemies that come in contact with you take a pretty hefty chunk of damage. And then you pop your invincibility and just stand on enemies, and they die very quickly. It can actually eat through most bosses in about half a bar of the ability, so... Alright, we got another special boss, and we have another chest, so... Pretty good chance of getting the last 2 levels of the Ranger Bow that we need. And we definitely still have time. I wish... I keep looking on the screen to see if there's a way to see what wave you're on, and either I'm missing it or there isn't. It'd be really nice sometimes to be able to see that. As you might imagine, this game also has, like, the money that I'm picking up is the game's meta currency. So there are a whole bunch of passive upgrades that range from okay, like, there's one that boosts your attack duration, but most of the strong weapons don't really work off of attack duration from what I can tell. And the ones that do are rarely worth it, in my experience. Like, it's good with the battle cog, that's about it, though. And the battle cog, like I said, I just unlocked it, so... but some of the other ones, like the health regeneration, or the additional projectile, are absolutely essential. If you really cannot go very far in this game without investing heavily in the health regen, because a lot of the level 2 and the level 3 stages, especially once you start adding on the extra difficulty modifiers for certain challenges, you will very quickly get overwhelmed and killed because you just do not do enough damage. Like, even with the upgrades that I have, like, I've maxed out the damage upgrade, and I am still having trouble killing enemies about 2/3 of the way through a run. Just to give you an idea of how much health the enemies have once the run's gone on for a while. I'm starting to get a little worried about not having enough levels for the bow. So let's see if we can squeeze out a couple more levels. If I find there's an item that picks up every bit of experience that is like those blue experience crystals on the map, and that one is very handy. Fire rate one, because that's the closest thing we have to a flat damage upgrade. Doesn't work with the toxic mist, but the toxic mist is just good to have around to begin with. Yeah, there were probably a couple different trinkets I could have picked that would have been a little better, but we still got a few waves, so. Super worried about maxing out the... Oh dear. Yes, the wave of golems has encapsulated the boss, so... This just got a little more awkward to kill it and pick up the... Oh, didn't even need to use the ability. Emerald Ring. Okay. Well, we're going to walk away from that, and we're going to start running towards some of the... like, the goldish diamonds, because those are all item pickups. Like this piggy bank that just dropped over here, which picks up all the money on the map automatically. But we're going to try to... we're going to hope one of them is the... experience orb. Because that should pretty much guarantee that we'll get what we need. Because I guarantee there's a ton of experience chilling out on the map that I just haven't picked up. Bomb's probably pretty good too. There we go. Get a bunch of kills. Get almost to another level without going too far out of the way. There we go. Still no ranger bow. Yeah, one of the other hazards in this that you've seen a couple times now, it shows up a lot more on, I think, Forest 2, is the waves of boar running across the screen. Alright, so something I can do if I have to is actually, like, hold up on fighting the boss to try to squeeze out a couple more levels. I really don't want to have to do that, though. I also only managed to kill, like, two of the special bosses. I normally try to go for all of them, but it's just... I think partly because of the weapons that I'm using, I'm just a little underpowered for this point in the run. Come on, guys, give me the bow. I need bow upgrades. Wave 19, yeah, I think after wave 20 is when the boss spawns, so we are running a little short on time. Ooh, it is spawning a lot of enemies though, so I need to start trying to angle myself away from the giant wave of... Oh, perfect. The bow's evolved form, it does make it marginally more useful, but I'm still not a big fan. Because that changes it from just shooting to the right to shooting in a clockwork pattern around you. There are actually two weapons in the game that do that, because there's also a fire breath weapon that also rotates clockwise, and I think they're both reasonably strong, but they're also not great comparatively. Like, I would just rather... I think from all the weapons that I've unlocked so far, the punch weapon this character starts with is hands down the strongest. Like, it's the only one this late in the game that does enough damage to quickly kill things early. I don't know, it's kind of tough to tell sometimes. Maybe there's something I'm missing that would be doing more, but... Okay, I would love to evolve the Battle Cog if I can, because that is actually another challenge won't net me anything new, but it will get me a little bit of extra gold. So, that'd be nice to do. Battle Cog 5. Okay, so there's a chance. That is not it. So maybe we can get another level before the boss spawns in? Maybe? No. The boss has spawned in, but I should be able to grab another level before I go to fight them. You definitely don't want to wait too long because... Alright, I didn't get it. That's fine. Yeah, here's our boss for all of the forest stages. Each environment has a unique boss, but there are currently only 3 of them in the game. But yeah, the way that they do the difficulty, the bosses themselves aren't too difficult, but they also spawn in a bunch of enemies while you're fighting them, and the longer you take to kill the boss, I want to say it's like every minute, maybe every 45 seconds, all of the enemies get stronger. So eventually, you will just die to enemies you can't possibly kill. Definitely lost a few runs that way, but usually it's not a problem. Especially if this boss, I think, is the most annoying of the bunch, because she just constantly tries to kite you. Doesn't matter, though. Sometimes she just gets stuck, and you win. Alright, so now that this run's wrapped up, let me just start this part of the video by saying nothing that I'm about to say is intended to disparage anybody who worked on the game. Game development is incredibly difficult, especially for solo devs or a small team. I checked the credits, I think like 6 people worked on this game. So the fact that they managed to make a game that is playable and polished like this, that's awesome. That being said, I personally really do not like this game. It is just, I mean, everything is so slow. Your character moves at a snail's pace. Even with, like, the full move speed upgrade, you still don't move very fast. And it's not a very engaging game. There's no real, like, the closest thing they have to difficulty is just spawning tons of enemies, which, yeah, it makes it hard sometimes, but it's not an engaging level of difficulty. It's not a challenge. It's just having to maneuver around a big pack of enemies whose only programming is to just walk towards you. So, from a gameplay perspective, I'm really not a big fan. If you've been playing this game yourself and you enjoy it, more power to you. Like, just have fun, enjoy your time. For me, really just not doing it for me. That being said, there is one thing I will absolutely compliment the game on, and that is the music is fantastic and probably needs to be in a better game, because all of the music is just really, really well done and adds a level of excitement that doesn't really match with what's going on screen. But those are just my thoughts on this game. Like I said, if you're having fun with it, more power to you. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this one, and I will catch you in the next one.